All right, let's dive into the wild world of cryptocurrency. It's a technology that's making some people incredibly rich, but at the same time, it's setting off major alarm bells inside some of the world's most powerful institutions.
And to get a handle on just how big we're talking, look at this number. At its absolute peak in late 2021, the entire crypto market was worth $2.3 trillion. I mean, that's a valuation that puts it in the same league as some of the biggest companies on the entire planet.
But here's the kicker. This massive global market operates almost entirely without a central authority. There's no single government or bank in charge, and that right there is the fundamental conflict we're going to unpack today. Is this the brilliant future of finance, or a serious threat to the way our world works?
Now, to understand why people are so excited about crypto, you have to look past all the hype and the crazy price swings. You have to get to the core technology that gets its supporters so fired up. And that idea is something called a smart contract.
So what in the world is a smart contract? Well, at its heart, it's just a computer program that lives on a blockchain. It's designed to automatically run when certain conditions are met. All the rules of an agreement are coded right in, which means you don't need a traditional middleman, like a lawyer or a bank.
The easiest way to think about it is like a super sophisticated vending machine. First, you write the rules into its code. If someone puts in $1, then dispense a soda. Simple. Second, you put this digital vending machine on the blockchain, which makes those rules permanent and unchangeable. Third, the trigger happens. Someone puts in that $1. And finally, the contract just executes. The soda comes out automatically, no person needed.
And that automation is what leads to all the big promises you hear about. It's supposed to be way more efficient, cutting out costly delays from middlemen. It's transparent because anyone can see the rules on the public blockchain, and because it's decentralized, no single person or company can just change the rules or shut it down. This is the big vision, a faster, cheaper, and maybe even a more trustworthy financial world.
But as you can imagine, not everyone is buying into this dream. In fact, in 2022, the Bank of Russia put out a huge report that painted a very, very different picture. They laid out what they see as some pretty extreme dangers of this technology.
And this really shows you the fundamental clash of worldviews here. Where crypto fans see automation and efficiency, the Bank of Russia sees a dangerous speculative bubble. Where they see decentralization, the bank sees a classic financial pyramid. And where proponents see a new, transparent system, the report warns it's a threat to financial stability and a perfect tool for illicit activity.
And their most serious accusation is probably this one, that crypto basically works like a pyramid scheme. The central bank argues that the price only goes up because new people are constantly pouring money in, which lets the early investors cash out at the expense of the newcomers.
The report then breaks down 4 huge risks. First, the insane volatility means regular people could lose everything. Second, if crypto becomes too popular, what they call cryptoization, it could actually sabotage the government's ability to manage its own economy. They also worry it sucks money away from real businesses, and of course, that it's a go-to tool for illegal activities that happen outside the normal financial system.
And the stakes here were incredibly high. The Bank of Russia estimated that its own citizens were doing about $5 billion worth of crypto transactions every single year. So yeah, this was way beyond just a niche hobby. This was a massive, unregulated flow of money.
So faced with what it saw as a direct threat to the system, the central bank didn't just write a strongly worded letter. Nope, it proposed a clear and drastic solution, a total, all-out ban.
And our proposal was sweeping. We're talking about banning crypto as a form of payment, banning the creation of new coins, shutting down every exchange and trading platform, and flat-out forbidding banks from having anything to do with it. The goal was pretty obvious, to completely cut off the crypto world from the country's official financial system.
They didn't stop there either. The proposed ban also went after crypto mining. That's the super energy-intensive process of creating new coins. The bank argued that mining was a waste of the country's energy and that it literally creates an infrastructure designed from the ground up to get around regulations.
Now, this proposed mining ban was a particularly big deal because at the time, Russia was a global powerhouse in crypto. Back in August 2021, it was the 3rd largest Bitcoin mining country in the entire world, responsible for over 11% of the whole network's computing power.
When you step back, this whole situation in Russia is much more than just a local story. It's really a perfect case study for this massive debate that's happening all over the world about the future of money itself. What you're really seeing is a collision course between 2 completely different visions for the future.
On one side, you've got this radical new tech that promises an open, borderless, decentralized world run by code. And on the other, you have the entire established order of central banks and governments, a system built on control, stability, and regulation.
And that really leaves us with the trillion-dollar question. Can these two worlds somehow learn to coexist? Is it possible to regulate and integrate this technology, or is its decentralized soul just fundamentally at odds with how our financial system is built? The answer to that is going to shape finance for a long, long time to come.